And we are back after I don't know how many, 6 months. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ramnani podcast. We have the permanent guest, Ashish Kyan, right here.
Hello, Macha. Hello, everybody.
How's it going? क्या चल रहा है भाई?
Going okay. Going fine in Hyderabad. Month 1 to 2.5 months into a long break from work, from 9 to 5 work. But otherwise,
Do you want
tennis.
to give it the right term, or you want to let it be?
What's the right term?
Unemployed.
Unemployed, to nahi. I've been working on 2, 3 projects. So
Okay, that way. You're freelancing.
yes, I'm a gig worker. I'm gigging with a couple of
You're a gig.
companies, startups. Unemployed तो 1 महीना
Oh,
और उसके बाद तो अभी yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. So when you say gig worker, do you like do deliveries or whatnot, or what's the...
Dude, I'm like, for the sake of being completely rude, gig workers are just not, to both me and gig workers. Gig working is just finding a gig which is freelance. So freelancing, gig working is all the same terminology.
That's what gig worker.
You pick up a
So
gig
then
and you
why is
figure
it?
out.
oh, So then why is everything that involves delivery partners called gig workers or delivery people? Because that's usually the new term that's used, right? Gig workers.
So the gig working economy is not just for delivery, it's any short term employment. So from Uber drivers, so to radio cabs, to delivery, to uh, people picking up groceries, standing in line, to even so what I think millennials call freelancing, Gen Z's called gig working.
Okay. So basically, but then freelancing would not encompass jobs like delivery, stuff like that. That was
Yeah,
considered labor
technically,
work. But I think
technically,
gig worker sort of encompasses everything. That means you
yeah,
earn your keep,
yeah,
something like
anything
that,
which is
and you're on your own.
not a fixed 9 to 5, and you have to basically just multiple gigs at time kind of situation.
That's very interesting. Interesting. So how is that playing out? I mean, going from a 9 to 5 to going back to doing something for yourself. How has that affected your life in terms of... I'm not talking about financially, that is not the question, but I'm saying day to day, what does it look like?
Well, I have more time to do stuff that I want to. So I spend the first half, I'm just playing tennis and going to the gym and chilling, and I start work by 12:31. Goes on. Sometimes it's 3 hours of work, sometimes it's 10 hours of work, but I have more time to myself. And it's interesting because you get to choose what you're trying to do. So I'm currently working with a genomics startup, uh, setting up their marketing stack. Uh, so that's interesting because background is in medical genetics. So it's been fun understanding a business which is being set up in India for uh, the health and wellness segment in the genomics space. That is interesting. Working with a couple of people in the apparel segment, trying to set up their performance marketing. So that's interesting to understand unit economics of a very fast moving category, apparel. So that's interesting that you get a choice to do what you want to.
So then I have two questions to that. One is there are from two different tangents. One is, how do you motivate yourself to keep going? Like you say can you work for 10 hours, right? How does that...
Mhm.
is it is it like a self ignition that you keep, that once you start you get into the flow of things and then you keep going and going and going, or is there something that you have to train yourself to do? What is the
I
What
think
is
it
the two
depends
cents
from
on that?
person to person. I'm like, I am not a very disciplined, matlab on a day to day discipline. I don't necessarily try to carve out chunks. Okay, this is the time that I'm going to work. So, but I am just moved by the amount of work or the interest in the work that I have. So if
Right.
something needs to be executed, which is uh, both of high interest and high stakes, then it has to be done. It has to be done. But if something can is okay, it's in the process, in the pipeline, so you take your time to think about it, think through it, and it's not a hurried decision. So you don't stretch yourself too much. But then you obviously set goals, saying, okay, fine, for myself and for the company, both there. Like, you gotta make rent, you gotta eat, and you also need to keep yourself like I I took a break for a month from work, and after a month, I was like, okay, fine, this is very addictive, but not sustainable long term. So you also kind of
Yeah.
do it to
Fair
keep
enough.
yourself elastic.
Right. Fair enough. The second question I had was completely different. You said you're working with a medical genetics company.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us some sort of do you want to give us an overview of what these guys are planning to do, or what these guys do, and how does that look? Or is that something restricted you can't speak about? So
No, it's so it's pretty much in the domain, online domain. There's a website, there's a social presence. We've also launched. We did a podcast with the founders last week, which is live on YouTube. So it started in November. It's a startup called Chiranjiv, which means uh, basically immortal in Sanskrit, but also denotes
yeah,
longevity, life, uh, good quality of life, kind of blessing. Chiranjeev Bhava. So it's
yeah,
called
yeah,
Chiranjeev, and the tool is a Chiranjeev called Chiranjeev Life OS. So it's like a life operating system. It's ultimately going to take shape of a LLM dashboard. But what we are trying to do, it's backed by whole genome sequencing. So currently, whole genome sequencing is basically taking all your 20,000, 22,000 base pairs of DNA and laying it all out and seeing what your probability of uh, our propensity to different triggers, different environments is. So just not uh, illness related, but also whether uh, how good is your muscle recovery, how good is your genetics to do cardio versus muscle training, your lactose intolerance, your caffeine tolerance. Uh, so all of that kind of laid out. So currently in the market, there's no whole genome sequencing back situation. That is one. So what we are trying to do is get as many Indians to do whole genome sequencing, because that's another loophole in the pharmaceutical industry. Most of the medicines are made based on data, European data.
yeah,
So European population has been genetically mapped, and based on that, pharmaceutical companies have developed drugs. And like, there's no malintention or bad intention there. It's just the way science and funding and universities progress. So now what's happening is, for the longest time, it's not been the most effective pathway of cure for Indians to take drugs which are made for European uh, stuff and not necessarily based on tropical data. And so that is one loophole that we're trying to plug, get as many to make a sovereign Indian genome data pool, where as many as so this year the goal is to do 20,000 testing, which is going to be completely funded by the startup. Um, and then based on that, then you get a report, and then that is linked to a AI kind of tool which you can have a conversation with. You can link up your medical records, and actually gives you a overview on a daily basis, on a weekly, monthly, yearly, decade long basis as to what your uh, hurdles, pitfalls, leverages are when it comes to health and wellness. So
That is very fascinating.
yeah, so that's the thing. The team is interesting. IIT background founders with 25, 30 years of experience in startups, technology startups. Uh,
Okay.
Interesting team.
And this
Yeah.
L and this LLM that has been created, is it why are they using vibe coding, or is it based on a US platform, the LLM? Would you happen to know, or are they doing it
So
indigenously?
no, I think it's mostly all India based because again, uh, considering data privacy concerns, data of this sort
Mm,
needs to be stored on Indian servers, Indian
right,
location servers. So all the tools
right.
that we are going to deploy from the dashboard to the website, it's all India-based servers. So it will be
Right.
something which is indigenous.
Okay. Very cool. I think I like the idea that you're mapping the genome, because that is very true. A lot of the medication is, I'll tell you something very interesting. A lot of medication
Mhm.
is based for males than
Yeah.
females.
Yep.
That's very interesting. So this
True.
sort of applies to the same thing, that a lot of testing is done for
On
medication
male
for males,
subjects.
and
Yeah.
less for females. So,
Yeah. So the
like for example,
benchmarking is also.
yeah. So the multiple sclerosis, I think, is very common among females, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, the amount of research done is very limited because it's not a
Males do
male.
not suffer too much
Uh,
from MS.
correct. It's not a male
Yeah.
driven data point, you could say. So I think that is
Right.
something very interesting. That is very interesting stuff, man. I
Right.
know. Um, do I know? I know this is not completely different, actually. So, but yeah,
Right.
that seems very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all the listeners, you can go sign up for your testing on chiranjiv.com. You can check us out on Chiranjiv Health on social media. You'll find a lot of data. You'll find a lot of things that we're trying to do. So I'm trying to set up the brand, the marketing stack the for the brand, for the startup.
Okay. 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 That is interesting that they call it Chiranjeevi, right? Because there are, according
Chiranjiv.
to the Chiranjiv, that means
Yeah.
immortal, right?
Yeah.
Sanskrit. It's
Yep.
interesting. According to uh, our ancient history, there are 10 Chiranjeevis, right? Or 10
Right.
Chiranjeevis that, yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know them? Do you know the 10?
I don't know all the 10. I know some of them. Yeah. So there's Ashwathama, there's Hanuman, there
Yeah.
is uh, I think Bhishma Pitama is also one of them, but I'm not sure. Um, yeah, then there are a couple of evil ones. Yeah,
There is one
not sure.
who's from the Asuras, right? I forget the.
Yeah,
There's somebody from the Asura side.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
very
one
interesting. Very interesting.
Guru, and there's one. Yeah, and they will
Yeah,
all come together to help Kalki, which is the 10th avatar of Vishnu in Kali Yuga. That's the scene.
yeah. But it's interesting how a lot of the stuff that comes out of India has a connection to Sanskrit. All the names, they all have like a very strong connection to Sanskrit. Anything, at least in the last 10 years, it has been like that, right?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
also definitely a trend in the last 10 years. It's also more, uh, I think people have found more confidence in just confidence in themselves and confidence in Indian culture and heritage to use it for, you know, to use it as brand names, front facing names, global front facing names. It doesn't need to be anymore. And also as a nation, I think we've, that's not in the past 10 years, but I think in 15 years, we've found our footing firmly where it's not like, acha, what does it mean or where does it come from type situation across the world.
Right.
So Indian
Right.
founders have kind of adopted their our heritage. Hmm. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
I see that. It's very interesting. Even the new AI that came out of India, I think it's called Sarvan or something. I forget the name, but it's called.
Yeah.
It has a Indian name, right? Sarvan AI or Sarvam. I don't know what to see
Yeah.
what the Indian AI is. I forgot what it's
True.
called. Let me check quickly.
Is it Swayam AI or something?
Oh, oh, I forgot. Sarvam AI.
Sarvam.
Sarvam. Interesting. There are a few. There
Sarvashaktiman.
is there are few of them. Bharat Gen, then there is
Uh,
Sarvam AI, and there's Bharat GPT.
hmm. Okay.
Mm, yeah,
But are these
that's
wrapped
interesting.
around ChatGPT or are these? I think Sarvanam is that is an indigenous model.
Yeah,
I don't know the other ones. Are they wrapped around ChatGPT as the base?
India's sovereign AI platform. Interesting. Yeah, everything has become AI, man. It's nuts. I know somebody
Hmm.
who's come up with. He used vibe coding as a way,
Hmm.
but he has basically come up with. I'm not going to say much because he's not ready to launch,
Hmm.
but he's come up with a way to basically use different uh, psychological principles or
Hmm.
psychiatric principles
Hmm.
and combined it with AI. So basically, if you have a dream and you want to
Hmm.
understand the meaning of it, you put your dream in and it'll tell
Oh,
you what it
interesting.
exactly. Yeah, it's a very
What's
interesting the way he's programmed it and coded it and how
nice?
he's done it. And I've been using it for the past few weeks, and I am so stunned by how good it is. It is
Nice.
very interesting. Every time I've had a dream or a nightmare, I put it in, and then it tells me what
Hmm.
exactly is my subconscious telling me, and I'm like, "Whoa, that is
Interesting.
crazy!"
What is your subconscious telling you
Oh my god, my subconscious. At least the last dream I had
since you
was
started
where.
playing? Hmm.
Yeah, sure. So the last dream I had was where I was at home in Bangalore.
Hmm.
But it
In the
also
dream, or
was
you
a
were
resort.
physically in Bangalore?
No, in the dream.
Ah, okay.
So it was home, but it was also a resort. So it did not it looked like my home, but it had already
Hmm.
been extended in
Okay.
different directions, and it also became a resort. So I don't
Okay.
know what that meant. And if I had to go through my room, there was a pathway that I had to go through. You know, these resorts have these pathways, right?
Hmm.
किसी में थोड़ा
Yeah.
you know, open pillars रहेगा उसमें you know, your flowers and weeds and all of that, like a sort
Hmm.
of like a Greek pathway where you have pillars. And
Right.
I
Okay.
was walking down that path and the sun had set,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden I had all these snakes come out,
Oh.
and they were specifically. I remember that all these snakes were the black mamba.
Okay.
And the black
Yeah.
mamba is the most venomous snake in the world and very
Okay.
aggressive.
Hmm.
And to get to my room, I had to jump, you know, to avoid the snakes. So
Okay.
every time I jumped and landed, there was another snake that came out of its burrow close to my leg. So I had to sort of, and it
Hmm.
was a very interesting dream. And then I put it into the app. The app was telling
अरे
me, well,
इंडिया में तो बोलते हैं कि पैसा आएगा सांप देखने से
app
सपने में
तो
सांप
बोलता
आए
है
तो फट
कि your subconscious is sort of telling you that there are a lot of snakes around. Be careful. You know, it's like
Hmm.
subconsciously it's telling you, okay, and it also is a sign of vitality that you can convert this fear into vitality and you can, you know, hold yourself together. So
Is
it's
the
that was
subconscious
very
telling you
interesting.
or you are thinking it and therefore your subconscious is projecting it?
No, it is somewhere deep down and my subconscious knows. And
Hmm.
because it's like sometimes it's very hard to listen to your instinct, right? Because you're so caught
Hmm.
up with so many other things. Your subconscious is what records a lot of things in its innate form without the complexities of emotions, and so the subconscious is telling you that there are a lot of snakes around. So very
Hmm.
interesting insight, and all of a sudden it was like dunk, whoa. And there was
Okay.
another dream before that,
Hmm.
um that 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, where my current accountant told me that my
Hmm.
ex accountant is not never going to come back to working for me.
Okay.
And she said 99.9%. And
Okay.
I put it into this software, not
Hmm.
software, I put it into this, and it came
GPT.
back saying your subconscious is telling you that there's a finality to it.
Hmm.
99.9% is that finality, and it needs you to move on.
Okay.
And
In which
it's sort of
situation?
like
For
a,
the accountant situation.
yeah, in this accountant situation, imagine your subconscious is telling you to move on. And it
Hmm.
is much more powerful than a friend telling you to move on. It is like your soul is telling you, okay, enough, move on. You're trying to hold on to the fact that she will, of course, I mean, I really wanted her to come back because she was really good and so on and so forth. But, um, and I've
So
tried
you
to
so you
ask her to
heard
come back.
99.9% the
9%.
number. You
Yeah,
heard it in your dream.
99.9%. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Interesting.
My ex accountant told me 99.9%. And I
Interesting.
am like, this is very final.
Hmm.
So that was illuminating. I mean, the stuff that this guy's been able to do. So
Nice.
of course, I will definitely let you know once it's ready. I will. But
Yep. Yep.
that was what was very intense. And then I had another dream
Hmm.
about, um, you know, uh, it was a very strange dream I had. Anyway, I don't remember, but
Hmm.
it was a very very uh okay. This one I can tell you. It was like. It was a nightmare, I guess. I don't know. So there was like, I was standing and watching on the monitor in my
Okay.
dream, and my baby was crying. My son was crying.
Hmm.
And there were three jokers trying to calm it down, trying to calm it down. I don't know why. And at
Okay.
some point, I got very frustrated. I
Wow.
not frustrated, but I got like, no, this cannot. I have to go and calm the baby down.
Hmm.
And then as soon as I walked in, I realized my wife is no more. She's gone.
What the
So,
okay.
and so I had to take care of my baby, and I basically look to the heavens and say, wait for me, I will come once this is done. This was all in
Wow.
the dream, and I'm like, holy shit. So I put it in the software, and it said, and I put it in this
Hmm.
LLM, and it said, the three jokers represent the distractions you have when it comes to
Okay.
your responsibility. You're using your distractions to uh, you're trying to it's your distractions from your responsibility. You have to do some things, like you're taking care
Hmm.
of the kid is a show of responsibility. Doesn't mean that it'll happen, but it is like you have to be responsible. You cannot always get distracted.
Hmm.
And it was very, I was like, wow, that is another way to put it in. and
Intense.
and it's and the whole the promise, or the prayer to tell your wife to wait for you, is a way of basically saying that you are a very you will do what is necessary first before you cross over. So you're very
Hmm.
strong about some things, very strong about some principles. So that was what blew my mind. I
Nice.
was like, what? That is crazy. And this stuff is very, very interesting. I mean,
Hmm.
I was telling him that uh, this is such a medium to the
Hmm.
soul. So
So he's used
hold on.
psychology, psychiatric books.
I cannot say much because I
Okay.
cannot even mention how he's done it.
Fair. Fair.
But it's his. But I just wanted to say what
Sounds
my
interesting.
experience was
Hmm.
about it.
Sounds interesting.
One sec, let me see if he's around. So okay, so I just had a word with him. He said I could mention the name.
Hmm.
The name is called DreamSage.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah,
Nice. Dream
very
stage.
cool.
It's an app. It's
Dream
going to be an app.
Sage. It's not an app. It's basically a website.
Oh, acha.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
And
cool.
I find, huh?
Very cool.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get him to get. Let me see if I can get him. If I can get the website link.
Hmm. Was he having very bad dreams?
No, no. He's done. He's had his. I don't want to talk too much on his behalf because that would not
Hmm.
be fair. I don't want to give a wrong impression. But what I've understood is that uh, he has gone down the rabbit hole in trying to discover different aspects of our consciousness
Hmm.
and
Okay.
trying to understand how we perceive the world and why we do it. And he has used different understandings, different philosophies,
Right.
different techniques to get to that point.
Interesting. Interesting. You've been vibe
So I
coding as well.
was no, I wanted to, but I haven't had the time to do it. I've gotten distracted by a lot of things. I'm just trying to keep
Hmm.
my head above water for the better part of 2 weeks since I've come back from India. So,
Whoa.
but yeah, so that was very interesting. If I get the link, I'll give it to you, and then you can try it out. If you have a dream that you've had, and you can just put it in,
Yeah,
and
I had a dream this afternoon. Just I was like, which was kind of weird. So,
yeah,
but
you can try
didn't
it
make
out. Let me see if
sense.
he gives me the
Okay, dreams. Interesting.
DreamSage dot.
Are you a regular dreamer? Do you have regular dreams?
Yeah, I do. Interestingly, I do. I have a lot of dreams. Sometimes a lot of nightmares. Actually, a lot of nightmares. And
Okay.
I've started using this app, and the more I understand it, the better my dreams are getting because
Is
it's
it?
like the subconscious is no more agitated. It's more like
Hmm.
I'm more in sync with what it's trying to tell me. So,
Interesting.
but yeah, that was a very interesting experience. That is what I've been using overall.
Have you ever
Hmm.
lucid dreamt?
Oh, I've tried quite a few times.
Hmm.
So, oh yeah, so here's the website link. He said I can mention the website link. So I'm just waiting for the last part of it, this last bit of instructions.
Nice.
Oh, it's good to go. So the website link is dreamsage.me. Dreamsage.me.
Dream sage me. Interesting.
Dreamsage.me. Yeah.
Interesting. Your unconscious awaits. Hi, I'm Sage. Interesting. I'll surely run my dreams through
Yeah.
this. I'm not a very
Yes.
regular dreamer.
Maybe you don't have any conflicts with your subconscious.
I don't have a way. They say आज also the dream was about uh, rescheduling the location for meeting a college friend.
Acha.
That was all the dream was about. So instead
I
of
think
like,
we don't need I don't think we
it was
need
just,
Dreamsage for that.
I don't know, it was just कि एक फ्रेंड को एचएसआर में बोला था मिलने के लिए. Then I realized कि अच्छा no वो तो एयरपोर्ट की तरफ से आ रहा है. Then I called him up and I said, okay, let's meet in like Kamanali or something. That was the dream. And I was at a
But that
friend's.
was in Bangalore.
That was
Maybe
in
the dream is
Bangalore.
telling you you need to go back to Bangalore.
Maybe.
Yes.
uh, no,
Have you
I've
thought
been
of going back to
trying to
Bangalore?
for settling. I wrote. I've been applying. Uh, तो ऐसा तो कुछ. It's not. topmost or most favorite.
Right.
I've been doing the rounds for Mumbai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. So let's see.
Interesting.
But yeah,
But I hear Hyderabad has a better traffic situation than Bangalore.
yeah,
No?
I'm uh, like airport is max 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes from any place in the city.
That's not too bad.
Uh, yeah, and anywhere, matlab, even if you're traveling like 20, 25 kilometers, you'll be there within 40, 45 minutes, max to
Acha.
max.
But tell me something. They talk about the Hyderabad Ring Road. How is
Yeah,
that?
well, it's pretty nice. It's pretty
Yeah?
sorted. Yeah, it's actually a ring road. That was,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's pretty sorted,
I mean, compared to the outer ring road of Bangalore.
which has now become some inner. Now it has become like middle main road types. It's become one
Yeah.
gully. But no, this
Yeah,
is
that is true.
proper. Like, so think of the uh
I can
so
hear
if
you.
you imagine the stretch from Hibbal to the airport, uh in terms of like the lane length and like the four lanes and one way and speed and stuff. So the entire ring road here, the outer ring road here is like that. And it kind of
Acha.
gets you off to the right places, gets into the Mumbai Bangalore ka highway, and
Okay.
it's pretty neat, pretty sorted.
Okay.
अभी
Yeah,
फिलहाल
something
के लिए तो
I
sorted
think
है.
I think Hyderabad has always been very progressive in terms of execution. Even executing their products, they've been pretty decent compared to Bangalore when it comes
Yeah, I
to
think
infrastructure and development and so on and so forth.
hi. So it's not been a like a not literally but a metaphorically overnight boom that was
Right.
there in Bangalore. Then which became I think a mad rush. I think between 2005 to 2015, I think was a mad rush time. Whereas Hyderabad is not that was not that mad rush. They kind of took it in slowly and steadily while building the infrastructure as well. So now there's high tech city, which is uh, it's almost like an not electronic city. I would say okay say electronic city phase one. The one side of electronic city would be the high tech city, and that's in the middle of the city now.
Acha.
And all around it is like a 4 lane, or rather 8 lane road around it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that ways I think they've planned it कि जहाँ पे they've understood कि जहाँ पे इंडस्ट्री है वहाँ पे ट्रैफिक होगा तो वहाँ पे कैसा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए तो वैसा है बट या आई थिंक द एडवांटेज इज दैट इट्स नॉट बीन एक तो यहाँ पे इट्स also all rocky and mountainous, and then it's not an overnight boom. So these things they've kind of managed. So infrastructurally, yes,
Man,
Hyderabad is better, but नए नए एरियाज में
90s
वही
में
प्रॉब्लम है लेकिन वाटर लॉगिंग एंड ऑल वो होता है यहाँ पे भी होता है.
Acha, waterlogging is a. But how's the weather there? Weather is not like Bangalore, I'm guessing. It's very
Oh
different, right?
no, yeah, weather is it's hot.
It's
It
hot.
gets dry. It's already started getting a bit hot. Uh, it'll stay like this till July, August. Uh, temperatures
To the
will reach
rains.
around yeah, temperatures reach around 45, 46. Easy.
Wow, that's hot. That's
Yeah,
really hot.
यहाँ पे proper hot होता है, summer होता है.
Right.
तो weather तो
Interesting.
बैंगलोर जैसा तो खैर weather नहीं है.
Yeah, that for sure. I think one of the reasons I went off to India for a month was because it was winter here in Germany. It's
Hmm.
cold, it's cloudy, And I said, I have an option to go work out of Bangalore. So I actually went to
Hmm.
Bangalore for a month. And I
Do-
was working from there with the sun, 26
hmm.
degrees. It was perfect.
Nice.
I was like, and once you're working from home, it's not like it's tum idhar se karo ya udhar se, it's the same thing, right? So, I mean,
Right.
I don't usually work from home, but I do have an option. So I took it.
Hmm. This Bangalore is
So, but yeah,
Bangalore. How was your Bangalore
I
trip?
mean,
What do you
now
do?
I was working. I mean, 5 days a week, so I was working. And then a few days I got off. I went off to Bandipur, which was really
Hmm.
nice. One of the things I realized about Bangalore is the if you stayed in like example, I had left about 6 years, 6, 7 years
Hmm.
ago, right?
Hmm.
Now, if I had stayed in Bangalore, I wouldn't have noticed a lot of changes. One of the
Right.
biggest changes was around my house. There is so much of noise; it is crazy. Matlab, there's
Hmm.
honking. There is work going on at 3 o'clock in the morning. There is just constant
Wow.
activity, and it is unbelievable sometimes as to, I mean, where is the quiet? Where's the silence? And you get that,
True.
of course, in Germany. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
It is really quiet. No more honking. Nothing. It's after like I have never. Yeah, there are 1 or 2 days, but 1 or 2 days versus the whole year, it's
Yeah.
damn quiet. And I really, in the beginning, it was um very eerie, but now it's much um appreciated. It's I really appreciate the
Value the
silence. I
peace.
really appreciate.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then um the one thing I also realized is the air, the how bad the air is. It is
Hmm.
crazy,
Hmm.
and I actually got my father to install purifiers at home in Bangalore. Imagine Bangalore,
Oh,
I'm getting them to apply air purifiers.
nice.
So, and
All the construction
interestingly,
dust.
yeah, so interestingly, when on the app, it
Hmm.
said 100 AQI for Bangalore.
Okay.
Okay. But if you go to my location is, the Sarjapur Road
Hmm.
side,
Yeah.
the AQI was 190 in that
Okay.
particular region of Bangalore.
Hmm.
And then you realize it's because all the construction and all the movement of people and traffic and whatnot.
Yeah.
There is
Hmm.
so much pollution in the air,
Yeah.
and it is crazy. As soon as it gets like 5:36, when the traffic is peak, you walk out and the air smells
Yeah.
rancid. Like it's really bad, and
Yeah.
you don't realize it until you go into an environment where you do not um, have
Have
this sort
those
of an issue.
triggers. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
True.
crazy. I was so stunned. And yeah, man, I mean, that is a few observations. And of course,
Hmm.
Bangalore keeps changing so rapidly that I can't make sense of it anymore.
Right.
Bangalore, like every city I've gone to,
Hmm.
either it talks to me or it doesn't. Okay. Bangalore was always a city that always talked to me. For some odd reason, it
Right.
always had this hold over me, right?
Hmm.
Um, but now it doesn't talk to me anymore, dude. It's crazy. Like
True.
I used to, like San Francisco used to talk to me. I used to love San Francisco because of the just overall the feel of the city.
Right.
Um, I cannot stand New York. If I've gone to New York,
Hmm.
I just can't stand it. I have never been able to talk to it. It's just
Hmm.
Bombay. When I go to Bombay or Mumbai before I get
Hmm.
slapped by somebody, Mumbai was a very hot and cold experience for me. So
Okay.
sometimes I really liked Mumbai, and
Hmm.
sometimes it just never spoke to me. It was like it just had a different temperament with Mumbai.
Right.
Um, Delhi was that
Mumbai,
uncle
I
that you
can't
don't
do
want
three,
to.
4 days.
Delhi is that uncle you want to avoid at the wedding. It's like Delhi is like that for me. Like jitna jaldi ho niklo,
True.
It's
True.
like a very awkward situation when you're in Delhi. I don't know why. I mean, people love Delhi. Hey, whatever floats your boat. But Delhi
Yeah.
is a very awkward uncle for me. It's like you say, "Ha, theek hai, uncle, everything's good," and then you want to fuck off from there. You know what I mean? That's Delhi for
100%.
me. Yeah.
Uh,
So, uh, so this time I couldn't
Interesting.
listen. I couldn't hear Bangalore anymore. It's like Bangalore. I think I only go to Bangalore for nostalgia, but otherwise,
Hmm.
I can't make head or tail of Bangalore anymore. What it's trying to tell me, I have absolutely no idea. It's become
Yeah.
just noise.
It's true. That's why I'm also not like, oh, I have to move to Bangalore. I have to move to Bangalore. There's no, the attraction and the charm is too high a thing to, it's lost. So now it's like, theek hi hai.
Yeah, and it's also, I think that's what I say, right? I mean, the execution of different projects in the city have been so haphazard, because
Yeah.
from the temperature perspective, it is so well situated, right? If it was
Right.
the only thing is missing is just logistics and infrastructure and planning. That's all. It doesn't
Right.
require much. But and it doesn't, how do you call it? It doesn't take much to come down to basic planning on how to, in at least in today's day and age, there are enough models to work with to figure out how
Right.
best to place, people coming into the city, right? How best
Right.
to space them out, how to, because one of the biggest problems when you have a lot of influx into a city, for example, like Mumbai, right?
Hmm.
There's not enough space because
Right.
it's sort of like swamplands that was converted to a city, right? So
Yeah.
Bombay always had a problem of space, which I understand,
Yes.
but Bangalore never had a problem with space. You see,
Hmm.
so I think it was in terms of execution, in terms of planning, it's a very um it's very disappointing to see. When
Yeah.
I've been living in Bangalore for so long, so
You've been
live
born and brought
all
up
more
there.
or less all my. No, I was not born there. I
So,
was brought up there for sure.
oh,
I was brought up.
yeah.
I was
You were
brought up
brought up.
there. I was there. I moved to Bangalore when I was like 4. Yeah, when I was
Oh,
4
okay.
years old, and then from 4 to when I turned 20 till 21, 22, so I was there
Hmm.
constantly. So I've seen Bangalore grow, and there was a point
Right.
where Bangalore was really good. It had a decent influx of people. It was
Mm-hmm.
not too over crazy.
Yeah.
There was movement. There were things happening. From let's say from Sarjapur to Koramangala, it was always 10, 12 minutes. Now it's an hour, you know.
Yeah.
So 12 minutes to Koramangala and half an hour to Indranagar from Sarjapur Road, it used to be.
Yeah.
Now it's almost hour 45 minutes to Indranagar because the one
Hmm.
stretch that is basically Hosur Road via
Hmm.
Silk Board connected to Outer Ring Road, that whole stretch, right, is always
Right.
packed. You cross
Hmm.
over that stretch, you cross that stretch and get towards the inside, it's fine. When you go
Hmm.
to, when you, this also happens. So, for example, all the major roads, you see Hosur Road on one side, then you
Hmm.
see Old Madras Road on the other side, which is
Hmm.
basically connected via the Outer Ring Road. You have KR Puram, and then all these
Yeah.
major roads, the traffic that comes from these roads, when you are on the road that connects them, it's completely screwed. But if
Yeah.
you are not on any of those roads, you're not connected to any of the, or you're not going to something that is a major road, all the
Yeah.
arteries are fine. Like if you drive through Defense Colony, it's open, even
Yeah.
at peak hour traffic, right? But if you see the 100 feet road in Ranagar, that's connected all the way to Old Madras Road, and that is always jammed, you see.
Yeah. That's the
So,
main road
so when you
in.
look at this, yeah, so the major roads, basically Hosur Road, your Outer Ring Road,
Hmm.
and your Old Madras Road, all of these are really jam packed. So
Hmm.
But if you go within that boundary, then it's okay.
Hmm.
So if
Yeah.
you're coming from Sarjapur Road, you have to find a way to get inside that circle and be able to get through. Like I found a new road. I'm not going to mention it here. But I found a new road to get to Indiranagar in 40 minutes from Sarjapur Road, which bypasses
Okay.
Koramangala and everything.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, I mean, I think that's what I saw, at least in Bangalore.
Hmm.
That city doesn't talk to me anymore. You know,
Right.
there are some spots in the city that I still really, really like
Hmm.
Museum Road, which is
Oh
end
yeah.
of Church Street.
Yeah.
Museum Road, where there's Only Place. I think we've also gone
Hmm.
there, Only Place. The food is still very nostalgically good. You still get a
Oh, is
very
it?
nice, you get fries and garlic bread and, all the stuff, which is
Hmm.
very, very nice. Really like that.
There was a
We
red
went there.
checks wala tablecloth, right?
I think so. We went
The American diner
wide
kind
thing.
of space.
It's a checks. Right. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So now,
Yeah, we've gone there.
interestingly,
Hmm.
remember that picture you had for Bangalore?
That
That
Paul Fernandez
ha
art.
Paul
Uh,
Fernandez. I went to his studio this time.
oh, Coxtown.
I went
Fraser
to his
down
studio
Coxtown.
this time. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. And I bought everything about Bangalore from there, like the 70s and 80s ka jo bhi maal tha, main utha liya. I
Hmm.
bought everything. So there is a
Wow.
beautiful book. There's a beautiful book.
Hmm.
Wait, let me show it to you. Hold on.
Nice. Nice studio he has. It's next to a very good bakery also with good gives nice hot chocolate if I remember right.
Oh, I think the visual effect is, maybe I can, I don't know if I
The
can change the
visual
visual
effect is
effects.
overpowering the real effects.
Yes, unfortunately. I I don't think I can change it. I don't know if you can make out.
Ooh. Everything got disappeared.
Yeah.
Bangalore singing in the 70s. Yeah, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So there are beautiful like
Oh, beautiful.
illustrations and everything. Like illustration
Oh, very cool.
and there's a little
Good
write
job.
up as well.
Vanished.
So oh well. But yeah,
Exact.
I managed
Very
to
cool.
get this managed to get some of this stuff, and when I walked in, it was like I was in a candy store. So I bought a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that was I
Bangalore related.
yeah, Bangalore related. And then they also have like um they have a updated version of it where basically they show the morphing of Bangalore from what it was to what it is, all the way up till COVID.
Oh, oh wow. Nice.
Yeah, and I managed to get that poster as well, for which you had. So
I don't know where that poster is.
you can go buy it from Paul Fernandez. It's called apology.com.
Yeah, but I don't know where that frame is. It's still there in Alps or
मेरे को नहीं पता. I have no idea.
what happened to that Shiva poster and all?
I have no idea, dude, what happened.
But
I left and
seriously.
basically,
Wow. Interesting. But yeah, that was a good illustration. Good store.
yeah. So I went there,
Hmm.
got quite a few things from there. Uh,
Coxton.
and I was very excited when I got into
Hmm.
just to see all of the stuff. It was very, very nice.
Yeah.
It was very
Good
cool to
artwork.
see all the stuff that he had on display. But if anybody wants to check out um, stuff from the
Apology.
70s in illustration form, And specifically for Bangalore, you should
Bangalore.
definitely check out Paul Fernandez's studio. You can check it out
Mm.
online, Paul Fernandez, Bangalore. Put it on Google and you'll find his store online.
Yeah.
Plus, you can go and visit it when you're in Bangalore. Very cool stuff.
Yes.
So
Funky.
yeah, that was
Nice.
Bangalore
Did you do
in general.
Jethro's?
I did not do Jethro's. I did not, but I did a lot of Swiggy. Swiggy has been like the star of my trip, dude. How
Nice.
it is so fascinating. You order in 10 minutes, boom, it's there. Like you just sat down
Do
after
you have
ordering
this
and
in
you talk.
Germany? Do you have this in
No,
Germany?
I do not have Swiggy in Germany. Swiggy in Germany would be too much of a uh, it would be too much for Germany. Too much of a revolution. They would actually go after Swiggy for human rights violations or whatever. So
Wow.
I don't think we will ever have that unless it's a robot. So
Possibly now.
robot. But by the time robots come, it'll be probably 50 years, at least in Europe. So
Yeah.
by the time all of that, I mean, you'll see it probably faster in India and China versus in Europe.
Yeah.
So Europe, and then there will also be civil rights for robots also at some point.
So did you do Swiggy, restaurant Swiggy, or did you also do Instamart or Swiggy?
Instamart also. Instamart wala Swiggy. Was very
Instamart.
fascinating. I wanted a mouse and something to connect to my laptop, but in 10 minutes it was there. I was like,
Right.
what is this? What magic is this? How is this possible?
Been crazy.
But I do realize that the prices from Swiggy are a little bit higher than in the restaurant. So in some cases almost 40-50%. So I was like, okay, well. But for me, I was thinking about euros. हाँ ठीक है, euro में ना ठीक है, €1 delivery fee, हाँ ठीक है, चल अपने को क्या जाता है?
तेरे को तो सस्ता ही लग रहा होगा. बट हाँ वही है कि there's platform commission and ये सब, so restaurants do hike, and plus ultimately the advantage of having it without moving from your home
Yeah.
without going out and facing the traffic and burning gas and all of that jazz, finding parking in India.
So that is, as I said, it was such
It's
a
revolutionary.
oh, it is very. I don't know how long will they be able to keep it up because it is quite quite intense. But man, just to get something so fast, and every time I think about, for example, every time I think about how we take one step forward in terms of technology from a worldwide perspective, right? Always go back to the 90s, and I'm thinking, holy cow, in the 90s, if I wanted something, first I need to know that I want it because it had to be marketed to me and I had to come across it. जैसे कि कोई बुक हो गया या कोई I don't know, कोई CD हो गई. And if I did not know about it, I know I did not want it, right? It's like that. और वो भी जब आता था या किसी दोस्त ने बताया, अरे भाई ये CD है या ये कोई चीज है, then you are looking for it. किधर मिलेगा, क्या कैसे मिलेगा, and then you're trying to find out. You go to Brigade Road to find out. अरे इधर, then you have to ask the दुकानदार guy. दुकानदार बोलेगा अरे इधर नहीं मिलेगा, आपको सिटी जाना पड़ेगा, मतलब मेन मार्केट में जाना पड़ेगा. And then you have to think, अरे यार अभी मेन मार्केट, and mom and dad would say नहीं, you can't go to the main market now. जो है इधर है, नहीं तो. And then you had to sort of convince them after a few months again, अरे जाएंगे ना लेंगे. And then we'd go to the main market to find it, which was another ordeal. But it was so intense when you compare, when you compare the, and you're like,
today's reality.
Today it's like, what? Crazy. Really, really, it is nuts. So I find that very, very, it really leaves me flabbergasted. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've not shopped on Amazon for so many, almost a year now, because of Instamart and Blinkit and stuff.
Yeah, that is what was interesting when I went to Amazon and I want to buy something. So the one thing that I got from Amazon were children books.
Hmm.
You know, children के जो सारे books हैं
Right.
छोटों के लिए, तो I got all the books जैसे कि अलादीन,
Hmm.
दिवाली, थोड़े हिंदी books, ये वो. That was
Nice.
easy. Well, that would also come next day. So it was fine. I
Right.
didn't have to go to
Hmm.
a Sapna book house. I don't know if it still
Yeah.
exists,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So that was what I got from Amazon. Like stuff like
Hmm.
air purifier mangana tha. ठीक है तो Amazon से, which is
Right.
still out of stock, but old mangana tha, air purifier mangana tha, yeah.
Hmm.
All of these things you still had to go to Amazon. But for stuff, small stuff, अच्छा वो plug, अच्छा Wi-Fi router, ये वो पूरा so easy, टक 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 ऐसे आ रहा था जैसे कि it's consumer paradise, man.
Yeah.
It's consumer's paradise. It's crazy.
You're on a capitalist dream.
Oh my god. Swiggy is the champion for sure.
Yeah. What
But
if we DreamSage this?
I don't think it'll be able to give you anything accurate. So, but I
It's a
think
nightmare.
one of the other things that I realized was overall food in restaurants have become substandard.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like I went to Fatty Bao. It absolutely dog shit. I mean, I would never go back there again. Fatty Bao was so bad. And then we
Hmm.
went to another restaurant called My My. It was a sushi restaurant.
Okay. Hmm.
Aesthetically very well done. Like when you walk, so as you look at the restaurant from outside, it has this translucent glass. Okay. So it gives you that very feel of walking, yeah, maybe it's a thing in Japan that a lot of these restaurants have this translucent glass, and you look through the glass, and you have these lights that
Yeah.
make it very dim and very, cozy. You
Hmm.
walk in, aesthetically very nice, but
Hmm.
when it came to the food, very substandard. Like sushi gaya tel mein aisa hai. It's like that. It's not
Yeah, most
it's
of
not like,
the
oh my god.
new places are optimizing for in social media and to look nice and all, but the food, the
Yeah.
presentation might be great, but the taste ultimately kind of
Taste
collapses.
का मतलब हाँ पूरा. It was like I told them and they tried to
We had
what
gone to some
bribe me.
old sushi place in, I think, Richmond Road.
Harima.
Harima. Yeah. That
That was
was
good. But that was like I don't know 6-7 years ago.
yeah, more than that, almost 10 years back. Yeah,
Yeah,
2017, 18. But that was also nice. The ambience was nice and stuff.
yeah. I don't know how Harima is doing.
Hmm.
The only place was the only place that kept the food going. I mean, that was really good for sure. I also
Hmm.
went to Memories of China. That was in Taj. Uh,
Yeah, okay.
close to 1 mg. Close to 1
Yeah.
mg. The
Is it
My
still nice?
God, the food was so bad.
Oh, is
Oh
it?
my God. We reached at 7 o'clock,
Hmm.
thinking there will be not many people. By the time 9 o'clock, the place was full, and they had
Wow.
absolutely no idea on how to cater to
So
so
many.
much. And the food was pura satyanas kar diya.
Interesting.
Our service was like, it took them 3 hours to complete our service for us. It was so
Wow.
bad. Yeah, it was really, really bad. And then you're
I
like,
think
yeah.
we went there for your mom's birthday, I think. We had gone out.
Huh. Huh. We've been going there for 15, 16 years, 17 years. Dad always took us for Chinese food there.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean,
Nice.
and then I did visit Blue Tokai,
Which
Blue
one?
or as you RMZ
Which
Eco
area?
World, RMZ
Okay.
Eco World, and Third Wave Roasters also in RMZ Eco World.
Yeah.
And somehow I think both these places have lost their way in
USP.
yeah, they've lost the whole idea of these. When we started our coffee thing, it was about producing providing great coffee, right? But they have also adapted the whole Starbucks coffee day model, or Starbucks model, where they're less of a coffee shop, more of a candy store. They will give you vanilla shot, a pumpkin shot, a lauda shot, water shot. Pagal ho gaya main to. Where's that? If somebody who loves a nice black coffee,
Yeah.
Blue Tokai, in the other hand, yes, they had options, but you had to ask for it. Earlier, that was not the
Okay.
case. You could just basically walk in and they used to have it on the menu.
Hmm.
Okay, this. You could get this for this and this, this,
Right.
this bean, this roast, this from different. Araku still has it. Araku coffee
Yeah.
still does the whole different ways of getting your black coffee, which I really, really like, which I really appreciate. Third wave roasters has become a substitute for coffee day. It is better than
Sad,
coffee day. It's better than
but the
coffee
same
day.
model, I think.
Same model, no, but it's better than coffee day, but the model is the same of Starbucks. Vanilla shot, coffee shot, ye shot, pata nahi kya shot, and it's a candy store basically. So
Yeah.
coffee come, candy jada hai. It's like Starbucks. Starbucks is a candy store. It's not a. If you
Right.
ever have black coffee from Starbucks, it's absolute dog shit. You never
Yeah.
ever get a. And that is why if Starbucks is listening, guys, get your basics right and everything will work out. You don't need to change so many CEOs. Get your goddamn basics right. If you're going to be a coffee house, at least have one basic thing right, and that is black coffee
Right.
or your espresso shot. This
True.
is your base. Everything else is just noise.
Course. Yeah.
Yeah, that is your core. Now, if I come in to get a cup of black coffee at, I don't know, $10, it should be worth my time. I don't want to have substandard product in front of me.
But I think it's
I don't
also
care.
these guys have the problem. I'm like with coffee that like out of 10 people, only 2 people or 1 person is an actual coffee lover and would understand the nuances of black coffee. The rest all want to be in a candy store. So to get those
No,
other eight people, 9 people
I
into the door.
I completely get it. That's how they've marketed themselves so that they get beyond their cafe and become a candy store, which is fine.
Yeah.
But if somebody walks in, at least the core should be the same, right? Maintain
Yeah.
that core because that is the base, right?
So that they blow.
So if I come in for a black coffee, which is the core, and if it is shit, I don't want to have it, right?
Did you pick up any beans or powder or something?
No, I had picked up a lot of beans from Araku last time I'd gone, so I still have coffee from there.
Okay.
I had frozen all the coffee beans. Yeah. So I think that was something which I wanted to say that even to like third wave roasters, that please don't lose out your core. You need to have very good coffee, black coffee on the platform. You cannot just take it for a ride. You cannot, somewhere down the line, you will become a candy store. Third wave though, especially. I mean, I had third wave. Their black coffee wasn't bad, to be honest. Wasn't really bad, but they did not have other options which Araku or what they used to have earlier. Earlier, they used to have many number of options. Abhi, they don't have any options. They say, okay, this is what it is. Yeah. Which wasn't bad. I ordered third wave every day for coffee at home because I couldn't have any other. I wanted my black coffee, which was good, which is very decent. But yes, I would have loved to have different options. And please don't become a candy store. Whatever happens, don't become a candy store. I like Araku because of the fact that they do have a section for people to eat, but they do give coffee its due. They really give coffee its due, which I really like. Blue Tokai was good, but it was, I mean, back in 16, it was the epitome for us, at least. It was like, wow, these guys are really going like micro lots and they're like the supreme. Now it's less of that. Again, it's matching the numbers, right? I think it's become a full-on business trying to figure out how to get the crowd in. So, yeah. So, that is something that is what I could sense, So, Yeah. Like,
Interesting.
my wife had a cappuccino at third wave and she was not impressed. Third wave roaster. She was not really impressed. It wasn't very good cappuccino.
Yeah.
But she did like the filter coffee that third wave offered. She got so addicted to it that she made me order it every day. Every day filter coffee aa raha hai ghar pe, and she loved
Nice.
filter coffee. So it was very interesting to see, and usually filter coffee has chicory in it, right? So
Hmm.
it was interesting to see how she really took a
Nice.
liking for it. So
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, through all of these coffee movements, I think the Darshanis in Bangalore still, I'm like, I still like a nice sugarless filter coffee from a Darshani in Bangalore. They've still kind of maintained that coffee.
yeah,
So,
they've really maintained and I think it's also the whole experience, right? When you walk into a darshini and you get closer to the coffee filter coffee machine, it's the aroma
yeah.
itself draws you in, and it's so well.
Yeah. And
Um,
seeing it is the milk being simmered and the
um,
coffee and all of that,
the
that
frothing,
experience and
yeah.
plus the taste is like that sugarless filter coffee is OG from a Darshini in Bangalore. Any Darshini.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um,
I think that I will not take it away. The Darshanis still have been able to maintain the
yeah,
aura around filter coffee and do it very,
100%.
very well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like talking about Darshanis, of course, we went to the good old dosa place. What was it called?
Hmm.
Kya tha? It's a very famous dosa place nowadays where they put
Rameshwaram.
Rameshwaram. Matlab they put like half a kg of ghee on the dosa.
Damn, you fell for the Rameshwaram trap.
They may have been good before they got famous, I would say.
Yeah.
Now it's like
Which one did you go to?
the
I think
Indranagar, Indranagar, the new
the
one they
original
have.
one. Okay.
Ah, and I was a little like, am I eating ghee or am I eating dosa? It was
Yeah.
so much of ghee. Because one of the things about eating dosa, you get to taste the tanginess of the dough because it's fermented. So you have
Yeah.
that little tanginess that you cannot taste at all. Like
Right.
dosa, a plain dosa, when you eat it, it has a flavor of its own. It's a
Yeah.
fermented urad dal का जो नहीं होता dal and rice का जो
Hmm.
थोड़ा tanginess होता है वो you cannot taste it at all. So it was a
Right.
little like, okay, it's over the top dosa. And my wife hates ghee. She cannot stand ghee. Ghee
Who
and
is it?
butter. तो उसका तो तेल में बना था. And when you had that and you're like, there is no flavor to this at all.
Yeah. Yeah, Rameshwaram is underwhelming. They have a good,
No.
like, the space and all created is interesting, but food is underwhelming.
Yeah, quite underwhelming. And
Mm.
very, yeah, not up to what I
Basic.
thought.
Yeah, basic.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think we stop here.
Yeah.
It was a good session, man. An hour session, a very decent
Yes.
session. I think we touched about a lot of topics. We did not have a pathway, so I think this was a very open.
Random musings.
I think that's the topic of my podcast, or at least that's the title of my podcast: Random Musings.
Random musings. Wasn't that your blog name or something? Random
My
musings.
blog name was a tribute to self.com.
Okay. I don't know why random
A
musings.
tribute to
But yeah, random
self.
musings.
Yeah, Random Musings is probably somebody else, but yeah.
Hmm.
Somebody from the
Noise.
Periscope world might have random musings. I don't know.
Periscope. My God. Nice.
Periscope. Okay, my
But yeah.
man. Was nice catching up. That was a good
Thank you,
scene.
Macha. As always.
Let's do this whenever it is meant to happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, mom. Take care.
Thank you,
And I
guys.
will.
Thank you, Ramnani. Take care. Have fun.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye bye.
Ciao.